Hi, and welcome to Kitchen Chaos, where I cook up battle-ready Warhammer miniatures using only the finest ingredients from your kitchen. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to make 5 most delicious recipes for your Warhammer bases, using only items from your pantry. If you enjoy this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to check out the Patreon as well if you'd like to support me in this most ridiculous endeavor. Now, before we get started, we'll need to go on a hunt into the pantry to see if we can find some reasonable looking or tasting ingredients for our basing materials. I've never used any of these before. This could go horribly wrong, but luckily I am a trained professional. Right, let's have a hunt in the pantry to see what we can find to use for our basing materials. Now, as you can see, a bit of a mess. I do apologize. I'll need some of these for later for myself. What is this? Absolutely no idea. Let's have a go with that. Coriander leaves perhaps could be used. I have used this for basing before. It is full of protein and very good for you, but unfortunately can't be used in your child's lunch due to allergies in the classroom, so I've learnt the hard way that that stays in the cupboard. 3 jars of tahini, all unfinished. If you don't know what tahini is, it makes hummus. It is the backbone of hummus. As an Englishman, the Sanitarium Marmite does live up to expectations. It's almost as good as English Marmite. Slightly less salty, slightly firmer in consistency. Known for the famous spice bags that you will get in a Dublin chippy. We could use this as a basing material. Perhaps we could open the contents and see what's inside. If she doesn't have this, she might not sleep very well, but basing materials are more important. Seeds of different varieties, rice, lentils. What is this? No idea. I'm not sure what that is. So I think we've got enough to go on so far. Let's assemble some of this and start mixing it with PVA glue. So before we get started, you'll need to find 5 decently sized Warhammer or Citadel plastic bases to use in this. Now, I've selected a few ingredients from the pantry, and what we're going to do here is actually mix them with some PVA glue. You could get any sort of PVA glue. I just like to use the cheap stuff from Woolworths. We're also going to be using, of course, seasoning. Now, it's very, very important to season everything, including your bases, using the finest Maldon sea salt and, of course, cracked organic black pepper too. These things are essential for your basing ingredients. The other thing I'm going to be using today, which is completely untested, is, of course, some nice eggs. Now, I do eat a lot of eggs. I eat a dozen eggs a day. They are packed full of protein and they keep me big and strong. And I suggest you do the same. If you use your eggs to cook with and eat, you may save the shells for this basing tutorial, and I guarantee you this will not go wrong. But first, breakfast. Here's how you crack an egg without making a mess, keeping the egg shell for our basing materials. I'm going to give it a rinse and we'll see where we end up. Freshly baked sourdough, thickly sliced. As we can see, the eggs are coming along. While the eggs are cooking, Gruffalo plate, toast, make sure to burn the toast, butter. Apply evenly onto the toast, like so. Fetch your eggs and plate. The last piece of the puzzle, some Lao Ganma hot chili oil. Beautiful reddish color, straight to the guts. So we have our recipe. 5 beautifully clean plastic Games Workshop Warhammer bases and our 5 base ingredients for this recipe. Firstly, we have some lentils. We then have some porridge oats. We have an eggshell. We have some breadcrumbs. And lastly, I have no idea what this is. Then you'll need to get yourself a teaspoon, preferably the nicest teaspoon you have, and start mixing the lentils.
Just squirt it.
And with the egg, you will need to crush it up a little first with the spoon as follows. Trying not to make too much of a mess. Now, I did rinse the egg to get any slimy bits off. Quite a satisfying and delicious sounding crunch. I must say the eggs were delicious. My breakfast was most excellent, but I'm pretty sure I'll be on the toilet later on. Mixy, mixy, mixy. So, on to the next stage. Now we are ready to base our bases with our delicious, delicious ingredients. I'll be using a Citadel spatula, unsure what they're actually called, but we're going to use one in this instance, and all we're going to do here is take some of our ingredient and place onto the base, smushing in as much as possible here.
The 5 edible Warhammer bases have now been primed with a Chaos Black spray. The first, the Lentils, I'm thinking of doing a Xenos style base with this one, perhaps some sort of alien life form on the base, perhaps eggs. Then we have the Breadcrumbs, some nice texture in here, unsure what I'm going to do with this one. But just look at that glorious, glorious eggshell. Not only was it delicious, but I'm thinking an icy, frosty base for this one. Then we have the Porridge Oats. I'm pretty happy with this, and I think the Porridge Oats actually look like leaves or resemble some sort of forest debris. Lastly, we have what I think is actually bell pepper flakes. Starting with the breadcrumbs here, I'm going to start stippling some bright, vivid yellow onto this one in an effort to create a lava base. For the delicious eggshell icy base, I'm going with a very vivid liquid pigment blue. Again, making sure to cover every crease and crevice. For the desert base, I'm choosing another liquid pigment, this time a rusty orange. Again, making sure to get full coverage with this one. You may wish to do several coats with the liquid pigment. For the weird Xenos base, I'm choosing to dry brush with a fleshy grey colour, making sure to catch all of the edges and raised areas. A pale minty green for the forest base. Don't be too heavy-handed with these, as you will lose some of that delicious topping if you go crazy. Back to the lava base, this time stippling on some vivid, bright, orangey red colour. Back to the woodland base now, and a pure white final dry brush on this one. Same process is repeated on the Xenos yucky base. Then using Citadel Contrast Militarum Green, I go into the woodland base and douse everything with a nice thick coat of this contrast paint. For the yucky Xenos base, I've decided to use Shaiish Purple, again a Citadel contrast paint, covering the entirety of the base in this disgusting purple hue. Oddly, I then decided to grab the lava base and get a pure white pigment powder and place it into key areas deep in the recesses of this base, hoping to add some white hot heat to this otherwise breadcrumby base. To finish off the lava base, I chose a Chaos Black dry brush, finally just to lock everything in and give the appearance of heat from within the breadcrumbs. I wasn't happy with just the purple on the yucky Xenos base, so to make it more disgusting, I went in with a heavily watered down coat of Blood for the Blood God, a Citadel technical paint that has a bit of gloss and a bit of disgusting yuckiness to it. Then with the woodland base, I went in with some watered down PVA glue, splotching in very random motions on this base for what's coming next. I then took my partner's posh tea bag and emptied the contents onto the forest base to recreate some woodland twigs, leaves, and other flotsam and jetsam. And I have to say, I was quite happy with the results here. Now for our dusty ash wastes desert base. I went in with a orange pigment here, a rusty orange pigment, and splotched it all over the base. I then followed that up with areas of yellow pigment paint in just selected areas. With the still drying blue icy eggshell base, I decided to add some white liquid pigment to the mix. With the blue still a bit moist in the recesses, I have to say the effect of this ended up looking absolutely superb. Another coat of the white liquid pigment, and here we are, a very snowy, icy, awesome looking base. I then went back into the pantry, got some baking powder, mixed that with some water, and applied like snow to finish off the icy eggshell base. Here we have all 5 of our edible Warhammer bases arrayed. I have to say, the lentils look particularly magnificent as a sort of Xenos alien world. We then have the snowy icy base, which I'm particularly happy with and I think is overall the best of the 5. We then have the woodland base, which again I'm very, very happy with. The lava base didn't quite come out as well as I'd hoped, but I do enjoy the dusty ash waste base there as well. Here is a glamour shot. As you can see, the icy eggshell base clearly stands out as the most prominent in the mix here, but I'm pretty happy with the results overall.
So, as you can see, that wasn't a complete disaster. I am a trained professional, and the proof is well and truly in the pudding. Thank you for staying with me on this, and remember, if you are a poor peasant, just lazy or perhaps a little strange, you can also do this. Just head into your pantry, pick out some bizarre items, and make delicious Warhammer bases in your own time. That's it for now. Bye-bye.